And now we'd like to invite up the guest speaker, chosen by the graduating class. So please come to the podium, Miss Doughty.
Congratulations to all the graduates and their families, and I would like to thank grade 12s for the honor of inviting me to their graduation. After they asked me to do this speech, an honor you can't refuse, I started to panic about what I was going to say. And everyone told me, just look on the internet, there's lots of speeches. The first thing I found was a website that said, don't use a generic speech off the internet. Don't talk about the future, spreading your wings, and a bunch of other cliches. So I didn't know what else to do. So I decided to ignore that advice. And I took a good look back at the class of 2010. The majority of who were my class of 2005. I found their yearbook that they made. I started teaching the year most of you were born, and I was hired to work because one of you were born. I worked 1 day a week with Lynn Yetter when she came back from maternity leave after having Dustin. Many weekends we'd be at school planning, and Dustin would lay on a blue mat in the corner, sleeping or waiting patiently to be fed. Look how far you guys have come. One of my favorite things about small towns is the ability to know your students and their families, both in and out of school. Hockey, skating, gymnastics, birthday parties, fishing derbies have given me the opportunity to get to know and appreciate your different personalities over the past 18 years. Now it's your turn to head out into the world and make things happen. If you remember back to grade 7, it's pretty easy to get me off topic and start telling stories. Well, finally, somebody decided that the best way to learn and teach is to tell a story. So that sort of made my day. So here you go. Here's my story off the internet. Imagine that you had won the following prize in a contest. Each morning, your bank would deposit $86,400 in your private account for your use. However, this prize has rules, just as any game has certain rules. The first set would be everything you didn't spend during each day would be taken away from you. You may not simply transfer money into some other account. You may only spend it. Each morning, upon awakening, the bank opens your account with another $86,400 for that day. But there's more rules. The bank can end the game without warning at any time. It's over. The game is over, it can close the account, and you will not receive a new one. What would you do? Would you buy anything and everything you wanted? Not only for yourself, but for all the people you love. Even for the people you don't know, because you couldn't possibly spend that money on yourself, right? Would you try to spend every cent and use it right? Actually, the game is reality. Each of us is in possession of such a magical bank. We just can't seem to use it. The magical bank is time. Each morning we awaken to receive 86,400 seconds as a gift of life. And when we go to sleep at night, any remaining time is not credited to us. What we haven't lived up that day is forever lost. Yesterday is forever gone. Each morning, the account is refilled, but the bank can dissolve your account at any time without warning. So, what will you do with your 86,400 seconds? Aren't they worth so much more than the same amount in dollars? Think about that. How will you use your time? As we heard this afternoon, many of you are involved in volunteering at the arena, the elementary school, and your own school. In grade 7, you are part of a fantastic leadership group that has been difficult to beat. Grade 7 is a year filled with many field trips, canoeing, going to the Penny Fish Hatchery, Mount Robson, and of course, the Berg Lake field trip. When we were preparing for the Berg Lake trip, I knew you were a strong, motivated group who would stick together and support each other. Why else would I spend a total of 6 nights camping with 27, 12, and 13-year-olds? Our Mount Robson pre-trip led me to question my judgment. When Coulter showed up to the campfire in his one-piece flannel pajamas, I should have wondered about the night ahead. When Alana told us she'd ate at least 20 marshmallows, I should have known I wouldn't get any sleep. After everyone supposedly settled for the night, I spent another hour patrolling the campground and listening to the gossip. Kids seem to think tents are soundproof. I like to walk with my flashlight off so they don't see me coming. On my way back to my tent, I detected some movement in the field. There was Christian and Dustin in full army crawl trying to cross the field. I don't want to know where, but they were caught in the act and sent back to bed. After another hour, I decided it was safe to go into my sleeping bag. Unfortunately, about 3 hours later, the sun came up, and the first two boys awoke and decided to have what I'm sure was a meaningful discussion in the middle of the field, waking up some other kids and myself. David and David got to see the full picture of what it's like to wake me up at 4 a.m. with only 3 hours sleep. By the time we went to Berg Lake, they had learned to control some of their energy, and I think they decided they liked me better when I had some sleep. We had a great but rainy week, spent a lot of time drying clothes at the shelter, ate some ice cream, and laughed a lot. But then I usually only remember the good stuff, like Michal's introduction to the great outdoors, talking about books to read with Anina, full throttle tag and dodgeball games with only a few kids sent to the clinic, a Christmas concert with ballet and belly dancing, wacky hair days, and a real love for learning. So when you're thinking about how you're going to spend those 36,400 seconds, remember to be proud and do it well. And here's my cliche. Without setbacks, problems to solve, life would be like a smoothly paved, straight, flat road to nowhere, safe and comfortable, but dull and utterly pointless. I prefer the Berg Lake Trail, a tough climb, but totally worth it for the view. And if you're wondering how fast time passes, I hope you will enjoy my slideshow of the grade 7 class of 2005. It's back there.